Excellent. Good morning. It's a beautiful day. We are here in the town of Amherst to make a major announcement regarding the future of the former Westwood Country Club site. I'm Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz, and I'm joined by a lot of folks from the county and the town. We are here also with Legislator Gene Vinyl, who you'll hear from. I have representatives from our Parks Department and our Department of Public Works, and I want to thank Commissioners Schinzel and Geary and their teams respectively, as well as from the Erie County Law Department, Rich Stanton, as well as my office for a big announcement about what really is going to be something wonderful for the entire community, including not just the town of Amherst, but all of Erie County. I think we've known for quite some time that there was a plan, a very ambitious plan that was introduced by Supervisor Culpa to take this old Westwood Country Club site and turn it into Amherst Central Park. But we're here today to talk about something a little different, the future of this site. And at this point, I want to turn it over to Amherst Supervisor Brian Culpa to talk a little bit more about the past and where we're going with this in the present. And then I'll come back and talk about the future of what will be a different site, a different type of park. Something that we are calling in Erie County Willowdale Park, harkening back to the original location of what was the Willowdale Country Club, a 9-hole course that was designed by famed golf architect and former Open champion Willie Park Jr. So I'm going to turn it over to Supervisor Culpa to talk about the investments that have been made and the ones that are coming soon from the town of Amherst, as well as our friends in state government, and then I'll come back and talk about the future of the site and what this means, because we have an agreement for the county to take ownership and control of what was the Westwood Country Club site and to turn it into the future into what we are calling Willowdale Park. Restoration of 9 holes of the original golf course, or the Westwood Country Club golf course, 7 of which date back to the original Willowdale Country Club, and then turning the remainder of the site into a passive park. But first I want to turn it over to Supervisor Culpa. Supervisor?
Thanks, County Executive. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. I'd like to thank the County Executive and our County Legislator, Gene Vinyl. They've been supportive of a park here right from the gate. For the past 2 decades, the town of Amherst has tried to figure out what to do with this site. And we've been through a lot of different variations. We've heard a lot of different variations, from a developed site to a park. A few years ago, our town board was able to obtain the site. We bought the former country club from Mensch Partners and set off on a journey to try to build a park, a large park at that. It's about a 170-acre site. When we started to do that, we looked for assistance, and we turned towards Albany with our Assemblywoman Karen McMahon, our State Senator Sean Ryan, Speaker Heastie got involved. And they were able to help us secure funding to start to develop a all-inclusive playground, a place that Amherst kids, Amherst adults, people of all capacities and abilities would be able to enjoy. We're moving forward with that plan, as well as continuing to work towards building a future winter market, a space for the community to come together. Space that would be able to hold farmers markets and gatherings in the summer. Thanks to Legislator Vinyl and County Executive Poloncarz, we were able to secure a grant a couple years ago from the county. As we started to look at the work it will take to put this park together, we realized we needed to have more partners, and we needed to have different type of partnerships. When you look at Erie County parks, our county parks under County Executive Poloncarz have rivaled our state parks in terms of quality. They have a fundamental understanding of how to deal with large passive parks. They have a fundamental understanding about how to deal with infrastructure inside of those parks, maintenance in those parks. And so we asked County Executive if he would look to partner on something on this site, and the county had ideas that they were able to bring to the table. I'm not a golf historian by any stretch of the imagination. Understanding the significance, though, of what Willowdale and what the country club was to Amherst is something that the town board didn't want to lose sight of. So as we started our conversations with the county about, moving forward together, It's been a tremendous learning experience for us to get to understand the history and to understand what the course still has intact and in place. I've been fortunate enough to walk a few times with the county executive and look at the opportunities for park space, look at the opportunities for golf, look at the opportunities to continue to move the town vision of having a place for everybody, a town park that everybody can enjoy while celebrating its rich history. So I'm very grateful to be here today, to welcome the county as a partner formally. And we look forward to moving this project forward in tandem. I can't thank the county executive enough for his attention and his staff's attention. This is going to be a tremendous place, and we're looking forward to seeing all of Erie County enjoy this asset here in the town of Amherst. County executive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. We're here today because of a vision of what this could be from Supervisor Culpa, and I really want to thank him for the work and effort that he put in to get us to this point. We would not be here today, and this site, who knows what it might be, and it could be something that the public didn't want, which was future development of housing development after housing development. We've heard from the public. We know that's not what they want, and that's not what's going to be here. This agreement benefits both Amherst and Erie County by turning the unused former Westwood Golf Course into a wonderful green space for the public, including restoration of 9 holes of the former Westwood Country Club, as I said, 7 of which are original to the site and historic. And you can see the design. If you played Westwood Country Club in the past, you'll notice the holes are those that were the back 9, with 18 finishing up over there, which will now be the 9th hole. And what is the old 10th hole will now be the first hole, and it harkens back to the original design on the course, in which that was the first hole when it was a 9-hole course, and you finished on what is now and will be the 9th hole. It was the 18th. As I said, Amherst residents will be very pleased because there will be no massive development on the site, something we know they were very opposed to. We listened to them and came up with a solution to the site that brings people together while preserving and maintaining natural outdoor recreation space. This is a win for the whole county, as the supervisor said, because it fills a need and a niche in our Parks Department. Our Parks Department does not have a major park of any sort in the town of Amherst, other than Grover Cleveland Park, which is actually in Buffalo. We can handle big parks. To give you an example of that, this is about 118 acres or so. Chestnut Ridge Park on itself is 1,200 acres. You can fit every single Olmsted park in the city of Buffalo and Chestnut Ridge and still have a couple hundred extra acres. So I want to thank Parks Commissioner Troy Schinzel, Jim Bill McDonald, Kate Hillman, the deputy commissioners and their teams for embracing this idea and understanding what's necessary to turn this location into a wonderful park. As was noted, Amherst took out the initial bond to acquire the property. Erie County will invest $3.7 million from a capital reserve fund, part of it which was already set aside for use in this park, and another $3 million in budget balancing amendments to rebuild and restore the golf course and begin work on a passive park. So what people who may have played the golf course before know as the 1st through 9th holes is going to be turned into a passive park with walking trails, wildlife viewing areas, other types of non-active recreation. You're not going to see baseball fields. You're not going to see soccer fields. But you're going to see people coming and riding their bikes, people walking with their families. There'll be waterfowl viewing areas. So you're going to see a wonderful new facility for our community. And it's an incredible year that this is happening, because 100 years ago, this year, was the opening of the original Erie County Park System. And here we are 100 years later, not only paying homage to the past, but we're building upon that by adding this wonderful new facility to the county's inventory, so to speak. The county has set aside funding for the work that needs to be done and the initial staffing for what we are calling Willowdale Park. Willowdale, harkening back to the original country club's name, Willowdale. And if you walk this site, you will find a lot of weeping willow trees on this site. Regarding the golf course, a lot of people, as I said, it is harkening back to the original design from Willie Park Jr., who was the 1887 and 1889 British Open champion, who designed many famous golf courses in the world. Some research was done by others and found that when this was opened, it was announced in 1921 that this was actually designed by Willie Park Jr., which is a famous name in golf circles. And we're very honored to be able to bring back his original vision to this area. The large passive park, of course, will include an all-accessible inclusive playground, bathroom, area for food trucks or other vendors to set up using the existing parking lot that's here. The town of Amherst will retain control of the southeastern corner of the new park to finish construction on the playground and the bathroom in those facilities. And once that is complete, it'll actually be turned over to the county. We're doing that because the town of Amherst has received grants from New York State to do that work. And I specifically want to thank Assemblywoman Karen McMahon and Senator Sean Ryan, who really wanted to be here today, but they're stuck in Albany. It was part of the budget discussions. But I need to thank Assemblywoman McMahon and Senator Ryan because they provided funding to help do that inclusive playground and other work that will be done by the town. And once the town completes that, that section will then be turned over to the county, like the rest of the park will be turned over to the county, and we will operate and maintain it in concert with our discussions with the town of Amherst. So we need to thank our supervisor for his vision and his team to turn this land into something that is going to be special. I want to thank my team from Public Works, William Gary and Karen Hoku are here, as well as, of course, our Parks Department, once again represented by our supervisor, our commissioner and deputy commissioners, because this is not something that just was a spur of moment decision. We've been talking about this for more than a year now. This is something that we came, as the supervisor mentioned, we walked the site. We wanted to see what was here. And one of the things that we realized very quickly, it was in a lot better shape than we thought it would be. It's going to take approximately a year to convert or to restore the golf course. But it looks like a golf course. The fairways are still in pretty good shape. We're going to have to do some work on the greens and the tees, but we expected that anyway. So we're going to be able to get this going, the golf course, hopefully for the 2026 season. So the goal is to start work on this very soon. We've contracted with Ferry Golf, who is our golf contractor that we use at Elma and Grover, Cleveland, to do major work. So we will be entering, and we've already entered, I should say, and we'll be starting work with Ferry Golf very soon to turn the golf course back to what it once was, a golf course. And then the Parks Department, working with others, will work on the passive section of the park. So that our goal is to open that up in 2026 and to hopefully have everything in place by the end of 2026 when it also includes the inclusive playground and bathrooms. You're probably wondering what we're going to do with the old clubhouse. For the time being, the old clubhouse is to be determined, but we do plan on using it for some offices for county government, not so much public offices, but for the Parks Department and other departments. It needs a little work on the inside, but it's actually not in that bad shape. So the site is in a lot better shape than what we thought when we first began these conversations. That's why I want to thank our partners from the Department of Public Works who went through it to actually determine what needs to be done. We don't plan on opening the clubhouse at this point to determine it later, but we do plan on using it. And then over time, potentially using it for other purposes, including maybe as a banquet facility, but that will be years off. The first important thing is to get the park open, to get the golf course open so we can generate revenue from it and then let people just walk this beautiful site. We're in the middle of the town of Amherst. I'm going to stop talking. Listen. You hear the birds. It's wonderful. It's a great site. I golfed on this site in the past. I know what it's like. It's a beautiful location, and we're really going to turn it into something special that the public can be proud of. I want to thank the supervisor once again for his vision and the team from the town of Amherst, including Deputy Supervisor Sean Lavin. I know that this was something that really mattered to them, and we're going to get it completed. And it's going to be something very special that our community is going to be proud of for decades to come. And someone who is also supportive of this project and is very pleased that it's now going to be in the hands of Erie County government is my partner in Erie County government, legislator Jean Vinyl. She's been an advocate for what was originally called Amherst Central Park. We've discussed this with her. I know she's an advocate for what we are calling and will be Willowdale Park, and I thank her for her support and fighting to ensure that this project became a reality. So Legislator Vinyl.
Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to give you a little bit of behind the scenes of it so you know the real excitement and the historic nature of what happened today. So before I decided to run, I already knew Brian Copa, and I already knew Mark Polencars from being a volunteer and being active in different things. And it's so wonderful that the county has these, and Amherst has. We come with the guy who had Mark Polencars, who worked at a big fancy law firm, so he knew transactional work, he knew bonding and things like that. He added that. And then at the same time, we have Brian Copa, who's an architect with a degree or specialization in urban planning. So when I was actually asked to run, and I said, you know what, to myself and to my husband, that I would like to work with these two guys because it's so great and bring this knowledge of different things together. And this is one example. And to let you know, sometimes one of the things I've always been fighting with Mark Polencars is saying Amherst doesn't have a county park. And we should have a county park, and we should get more money because we don't have a county park. So I'm always getting money for that. And one of the monies that I got was that we got $2.4 million, which was supposed to be used originally for holiday markets. And Brian Copa, I reached out to him, and his wife, who at the time was serving on the Williamsville board, and to go around to all sites to see where we could have like a holiday market that would be sustainable and beautiful and big and accessible and be a national destination. Holiday markets are in the top, like out of the top 20 holiday, Christmas at any kind destinations, our holiday markets are, I think, half of them in North America, all in North America. And so many people in California want to come and see snow. It's just like, so I thought we should be doing that in Amherst. And it turns out, so then we had that, and so we were trying to find it. We couldn't find any spot. And then on a Friday night, just to show you like the level of excitement that these guys don't really express, that how excited and how much this was from their heart, not just, and it's a labor of love. So all of a sudden on a Friday, it was like 5 o'clock, and I get a call, Brian Copa. And I was just minding my business and, doing my work. And then Brian Copa says, you know as well as I do, no place would be better than Westfield Country Club for your holiday markets. And I said, nobody was disputing that. How is it possible? So it was as if we were in a conversation. So anyway, he said that because they had been trying to buy, Amherst had been trying to buy Westwood so long, but the price was unapproachable. And then finally, there was new people deciding the sale, and they came with a reasonable offer, but he didn't have the money to do it. So luckily he knew, and so he knew about my holiday market. So he said, we had the $2.4 million, and with the agreement of fellow legislators and the agreement of Mark Polencars, we were able to divert that to the acquisition as part of this at the right time, and so it became a part of it. And we worked so hard. There was some disagreement. The other thing I wanted to tell you, but then we have, this is like the perfect thing. All these people have been calling me and people writing on Facebook. What are they going to do with the park? When is this going to happen? Why is the fact that people were disagreeing about certain parts going to make it that we're never going to have anything? So anyway, so it was so wonderful and perfect that this should be the what happened. And I also wanted to tell people that aren't involved in government, like I wasn't, just 6 years ago. I didn't know when I went how so many people that are running different county departments are so well qualified for the job and are perfect for the job, and we're so lucky to have them for the job. And one of those is the one that runs the parks, which is Roy Snitzel, and I'm sorry, Eric, sorry about that, Troy Snitzel, he's got, so when I first found out about him, this is this guy, right? He grew up in Western New York and went to school for running parks, and then ran a park in New Jersey, a park system in New Jersey, and then ran a park system after that for years in Texas. But then he and his wife decided where did they want to live the rest of their life, and they came back to Buffalo. So he applied for a job as deputy commissioner, and Mark and Tim Callan said, why are you applying for deputy commissioner when you're so well qualified? And he thought, well, maybe it was political. So he's Bennett. That's the quality of the people. Same with Karen Hoke. I mean, she has such great experience in the private sector and highways. Anyway, bottom line is that, right? And they have, and also, Bill Gary. I mean, the people that are going to be working this, Amherst can be satisfied and be sure that the people that are going to be running this park and developing it, both on the building and ground side of it and on the highway side of it and the building, are really of great character and great work. So it's going to be a great resource for generations. And Amherst does so much with so little on parks. But most of our parks are just ground that couldn't be used for other things, like between a highway and a electric line, and we'll have like 6 baseball diamonds there. But we don't have any park that is like this, which is essential in the whole area and is a park that can be used of this much for like passive walking. Just a beautiful park for a park's sake. And this is a once in a multi-generational thing, the same as after the Depression when FDR built those parks and all around that we enjoy here, and the same as when Colonel Weber brought Olmsted here to Buffalo to build the Olmsted Parks. This is of that magnitude, in my opinion, and it's because of the teamwork and the vision of Mark Poloncarz and Brian Kolpa and his whole team, including Deputy Commissioner Lavin, and I'm glad to have helped on it. And I can't wait to walk on the 100 acres of hiking trail and just be a part of it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, legislator. Thanks, legislator, and thank you for being a strong advocate. And she's right when she said, we need a park in Amherst. I go, yeah, I know. It's not like it's just easy to pick out sites that can be used for parks. But there was one, and that's why we're here today. Someone who's also been a strong advocate for this is Amherst council member and the deputy supervisor, Sean Lavin. Sean was one of the first people I talked to about this, actually, when he said he was talking after Brian, and I said, do you think this can be a reality? And he said, yes, we can make this happen because of the relationships we have between our partners in county and town government. So, Deputy Supervisor Lavin?
Let me just start by thanking the county executive for his leadership in this Willowdale park. 10 years ago, this park was designed to not appear as you see it now. It was meant to be mixed use, housing, concentration of building and development. But because of the strong partnerships we have and the community involvement, the Willowdale Country Club will remain green, accessible, and open. So I'm just so thankful for our partners, the county government, and the leadership of the county executive. This is an exciting opportunity for the residents of Amherst, and 2026 cannot come here fast enough. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Once again, I need to thank our partners and my team in county government, the Department of Public Works, William Geary, and Tracy Sahaki, the head of our buildings and grounds, who went through this building and confirmed to us, and the team from Highways, which will help ensure the parking lot and areas is up to snuff in the future. Of course, our parks team, Commissioner Troy Schinzel, Deputy Commissioners Jimbo McDonald, Kate Hillman. This is something that we can all be proud of as a lasting legacy of the work that we've done in Erie County. And once again, to Brian Kolpa, this is in some ways his vision, his lasting legacy is to ensure that this site, which as we know, could have been anything, and the public spoke, they do not want development on the site. And this is going to be a park that people will be enjoying long after all of us are gone. And that's something we can all be proud of. With that, I'll open up to questions. Brian, if you want to come up here, and Jean. Any questions from the media?
Is this it? Do you think this is, as he said,
Oh, sorry.
something that the residents will now embrace and not fight you for? There was so much battle last year.
You know, it's hard to define park for everybody. Everybody's got a different definition, and there's a lot of people in Amherst, 130,000. You know, it's a fairly concentrated population, and there's a lot of different people who have different recreational activities in mind when you say the word park. We've always said we wanted this to be passive. We wanted it to be inclusive. We wanted it to be open. We wanted it to be something that everybody could use. We've gone through iterations where we showed a home for musical fair. We've gone through iterations where we talked about moving the Heritage Village down here. All of those were efforts to figure out how we were going to have the staff on site to maintain, how we were going to operate. Ultimately, right, when those heavier activities are stripped away from it, what we're left with is just this tremendous open asset. And passive parks themselves have a certain majesty to them. You see that if you go to parts of Erie Park, or if you go to parts of Chestnut Ridge, or if you go to, you see inclusivity, you see people from all generations and all abilities using that space. That's what this is about, and we think that we're taking a little bit of a play out of a past supervisor. Susan Grelick once put together a park with state parks. This is county, but that same idea of Amherst has an Amherst State Park that's really a cooperation between the town and the state. This is a cooperation between the town and the county, and of course we have state investment coming into it as well. So we think this will ultimately be successful. Absolutely. We always knew a park would be successful here. It's been trying to sculpt it and figure out what should be included in it. That's been the work for the past 6 to 8 years.
Could I say something on that?
Sure.
Yeah. And on that question, which is that's what I was alluding to about like the controversy. But the thing is that I've gone to thousands of doors, and people almost universally want the park and want it faster and why isn't it already made? And the main issue is that in Amherst, they didn't want to pay for it all. And I think that they were right in the sense that that's why I always say that like there's county parks in every other district, and Amherst actually pays more taxes to the county than any other municipality. So this is getting the park, and the county is going to pay it. So we're all going to pay it because it will be a regional asset. So it'll be run by the Parks Department, and we have a great in Amherst. There is a great team that runs the parks, but this will be the same people running the parks that run those other wonderful parks, Chestnut Ridge, and do it so well, and Erie Park, etc. So it's a really a benefit to Amherst that they're getting this beautiful park, and that most of the cost will be shared by the whole county and the state of New York, which is appropriate and fair.
And before we take the next question, the next time we have 100% support of any project anywhere will be the first time we ever have 100% support of every project, any project, because you're just always going to have some who will criticize it. But we feel confident that the vast majority of the residents of the town of Amherst and those in Erie County will support this. And for the ones who live by, they will not have to worry about hearing car alarms, horns going off at 2 o'clock in the morning, which is a real thing, as we've just learned. Next question. Stephen, did you have a question?
Yeah, the cost to revive the 9 holes for the golf course, the passive park, you mentioned, I think, 3.7 million and then 3 million. Is that the county's full cost?
Yeah, that's it, yes. And the money we have, 3.7 was actually set aside previously in a reserve fund, most of it for actual use at the site, because we had previously agreed to give a grant to the site. And then budget balancing amendments, which were sent over to the legislature yesterday. We ended last year with a $26 million surplus. And then we have ideas on how we were going to use that. And part of that was taking $3 million out to complete the work. So we're not going to have to borrow any money. There'll be no borrowing associated with this project to restore the park, or I should say to restore the 9 holes, as well as to do the work on the other part of the passive park. It's not going to result in a tax increase or anything like that. So we were able to do it and do it in such a manner where it is financially easy and feasible for the county to do it without the negative ramifications that people automatically assume is going to result.